What does the Jason Garrett news mean for these Giants going forward? Sean, I'll go right to you. You won a Super Bowl with this team. You know the expectations, the legacy. What do you got?
Yeah, this is a tough one. Listen, I think that Jason Garrett's first class all the way. And I challenge anybody to find something negative to say or anybody to say anything negative about Jason Garrett, the man. His offense, on the other hand, has been a completely different conversation. And, you know, that full screen right there, the red zone is the biggest issue. That's what Joe Judge is talking about from a point standpoint. And we talked about this yesterday, what's broken about it. And I think when you look at the fact that no Saquon Barkley, that was a big factor with this. You can't throw that just like, oh, hey, you know, teams overcome that. No, Saquon missed the entire year last year. That was a big factor in it. But the bottom line is when they got down in the red zone, it was like the Bermuda Triangle. And so that's where you're most disappointed with the production from a standpoint. But to Ian's point, moving forward, I honestly don't know where this takes the Giants because everybody asks me, what do you think of Daniel Jones? What do you think of this Giants player, And when I watch film, when I turn it on, I see incompetence all across the board on different plays. It's one play, it's this guy, the next play, it's that guy. And it's been hard to even say, this is what he is. This is what they are. I still, to this day, I don't know what the Giants offense does well right now. I mean, it's not the red zone. It's not short yardage. They don't run the ball really well. They don't have a signature play. They don't have a style. They don't have an identity. And I think that really is what Giants fans and what football fans want. They want to know, what's our here? This is what we do. This is how we do it. And, you know, with respect to Daniel Jones, look, I want to know, all right, what does this guy do well? I know he runs really well. You know, I know he's a threat to run. I know he's got a great deep ball. This offense has not been aggressive. They've not been explosive. They have not attacked down the field. So how do you evaluate? Is that on Daniel Jones? No, he's not calling the plays. He's doing what the coaches are telling him. So I still have more questions about this offense and the future of not just Daniel Jones, but, you know, everybody. I mean, it's still a young team. And the reason why I think they waited this long is just because with Jason Garrett is because they wanted everybody to get back full strength. Saquon came back. Andrew Thomas came back. Kenny Golladay was back. And that Tampa Bay game, that Monday night game, they only scored 10 points. They played 2 times on Monday Night Football in 3 weeks. And they scored 10 points against the Bucs and 14 points against the Chiefs. That's it. That was the undoing.
With Eli on the Manning cast, watching and wincing in pain, and I think a lot of Giants fans were in the same boat. Okay, so do you know who's calling the plays now? Freddie Kitchens now steps up and will be calling the plays. And I wonder if this is what Joe Judge would have preferred all along. He almost inherited Jason Garrett in a way where Jason Garrett's available as a former Giant. He's a brilliant head coach. He's won Coach of the Year. Let's put him as our offensive coordinator with our young head coach. In Joe Judge's final season as a college football player, he was a quarterback at Mississippi State. Freddie Kitchens was the tight ends coach on that team. And then the following year, when Joe Judge says, I want to go into coaching, and goes to Mississippi State to be a graduate assistant, Freddie Kitchens is the running backs coach. So they have this long relationship. That was in the 90s. And with Freddie Kitchens is this whole list of Alabama guys on the Giants coaching staff that Joe Judge worked with at Alabama. I always felt like Jason Garrett and Joe Judge was like this weird match of a marriage that is now 1 year and 12 weeks in where they didn't know each other really before they got together. And it's, if Joe Judge is going to be head coach of the team, let's at least give him his guys that he can actually coach with. So Freddie Kitchens, roll your eyes if you want. You're at home. You're like, oh, the Browns. Freddie Kitchens has been a coach in the league for 15 years, and Joe Judge is putting this on him. Now, you got 7 weeks left. What are you going to do? Got to make a decision on your running back. Saquon Barkley was a second overall pick, and he has missed 16 of the last 24 games that the Giants have played. I don't blame him. I think everyone loves Saquon, the player, but he's been already added on for next year. His 5th-year option has been picked up, so he'll make $7 million next year. What happens in the offseason, though, is a player entering that season usually gets a big extension, or they don't, and it's like, all right, we're not going to pick you up, and it's probably your last year with the team. Now, the Giants could franchise tag Saquon and drag this along and all along, but if Saquon's healthy and Freddie Kitchens, who is a running backs coach by trade and was Nick Chubb's running backs coach in Cleveland, is the guy, let's see what the offense might look like around Saquon Barkley, a healthy version of it. So to me, you're not going to the playoffs. You're not winning a Super Bowl. 7 weeks left. Let's see what Freddie Kitchens has got as offensive coordinator, and let's, more importantly, see if Saquon is a guy worth bringing back for years to come.
That's it, Peter. I mean, you're trying to conjure some optimism from this. I look at it this way. This week, it's Friends and Family Week, right? And I think our closest friends at this table are the flagship teams, the teams we've been friends with for a long time. And you look around, it's like the Giants, oh my God. The Bears, rough. The Raiders, I have no idea. These are the friends that come, you don't even want to give them food, you want to give them like a hot shower and a fresh set of clothes. It's rough. But I'll say this for the Giants. at least they're doing something. My concern would be Jason Garrett is such a gentleman and so classy, and he's just a respected guy and an ex-Giant. We will address this in the offseason. No, they're doing it now. Because I think the problem with some of these teams, and certainly the Giants, but these old friends we have, I think they're sometimes the last to evolve. I really do, because they're built on a bedrock of success and their formula and doing things their way. So they're the last to evolve. Well, look around right now. Look at the offenses that we see in this league. It's Cliff, it's LaFleur, it's Kellen Moore, it's Kubiak, it's McVay. It's all these young guys, and that doesn't mean you have to fire everybody over 40 and hire some high school whiz kid. I think Sean Payton is still extremely inventive, but Mike McCarthy, I think maybe the best decision he has made as a coach is keeping Kellen Moore as his offensive coordinator. Jason Garrett had not been an offensive coordinator in over 10 years. It had been a long time, and they hired him, and it didn't work, and it seemed like a very Giants, old-fashioned, old money, old Sears Roebuck type way of doing things, and that's not the way that money is getting made right now. It just isn't happening. So I respect that they didn't just ride it out and say, we support Jason. No. It's not working. You fire him. That's what teams do now. And as far as moving forward, I thought they were just going to ride out Daniel Jones and they'll bring him back next year and not extend him and they'll be a lame duck. If the season ended right now, the New York Giants would have the 5th pick in the draft and the 6th pick in the draft because they have the Bears and they have their own, and both those teams are bad. There's quarterbacks coming out, and I'm not sure that one of them is not going to be New York Giant next year.
Do you think there's a more drastic turnaround than Jason Garrett outside the quarterback spot, or is this enough? Are you comfortable with a Kitchens, Joe Judge situation, or do you think this is like a first domino to drop situation? After hearing what Mara said in the offseason, after what they haven't done on the field, they need like a philosophical facelift. You're right about the evolution stuff, all those play callers. It's not about age, it's about ingenuity. It's about, look at Sean Payton, he somehow stays relevant. He's on the cutting edge. He's consistently you can just see it on the field, reevaluating, adjusting, evolving. That it's like if you have Joe Judge there and he has that old school mentality, the GM's a little old school, you have to surround him with pieces that are more progressive football talk wise.
I think the apologists for Daniel Jones are going to have a Cold War this offseason with all the people saying get a new quarterback. And Sean, you're kind of itching on it too. And there's a lot of people who are saying, how can Daniel Jones work with this? We're not getting a fair look at him. I think we've seen a lot of Daniel Jones football out there. 5th pick and 6th picks, so the season ended today. A lot of young quarterbacks coming out.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, no doubt.